We are live!
Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie Show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap, Signature Transportation Group, and Mom and Dad Water. Donnie, look like you and I need a haircut, and I know we got a big weekend ahead.
My haircut's in a good spot. I feel like this is the perfect length for me. I don't need to see Joel again for a minute, but happy to be a part of the show tonight, Jimmy. Thank you for putting it together. As always, excited to talk about a couple of breaking news stories in the softball world the night before a tournament, which is big news. We got a couple things to go over, got some tournaments to talk about. Jimmy, where do you want to start?
Let's start really quick with yourself. I know that last time, about a week ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, you had a haircut.
I did, okay.
And you were interviewed.
I was. Joel. Yes, Joel and I had a really good conversation.
Yeah. And so when does the Cousin Donnie episode get posted on the Joel show?
Great question. That's a great question. I unfortunately don't have the answer to that. I wish it would, because it's a great conversation that him and I had about softball. And Joel's a really good friend of mine, and we talk every day. And it was just like that. The camaraderie is just like we were talking as if we usually were. It was nothing bad or ill-willed on either party to talk about certain things. And I know he had a friend of yours in the chair after me, a man by the name of Richard Battistoni, who I haven't seen on the page either. So these interviews are disappearing.
Maybe they're just a little bit behind schedule. We've been busy in the softball world, as you can imagine.
Maybe.
And a lot of crazy stuff has happened in the last 2 weeks since the North-South. And I want to start here. We're going to rewind a couple weeks. Okay. We just had a softball or a video for a business. Okay. Hit over 20,000 views on all social media pages. It hit over 10,000 views just on our page alone, which I think is incredible, right? So
if I could add really quick before you play it, a great video for a guy who supports you quite a bit in this game, and someone that we support quite a bit in this game as well. He's a great guy, and he's one of the nicest dudes around, and runs a great business, and he really supports you, Jim.
Yes, he does. And so we'll get into that in a minute, but we want to show the video for them. Can he do it, folks? I mean, look at the Oh, Mickey, what are we going to do with Mickey?
I love that video.
I mean, 20,000 views, Donnie. Think about that.
Yeah.
With that Miller Lite drinking, Southside banging softball player.
Jag off of a man he is. I love him. I love him so much. I have to give Mickey a great shout out. He did something nice for my guy Spencer Mahoney, and I haven't thanked him yet between Spencer and Mick. So I will do that. I know he watches the show in the morning on his way to work. So
that video led to this picture. I was pulled aside, had no idea, right?
Okay.
Pulled aside, and it was led to this picture taken because of the video. Okay. And Jake is holding my bat, as you can see.
Is it your bat he's holding?
Maybe my balls. I'm not sure. But it looks like my bat. All right. And it's something that I think, because of the video, this is something that we had to talk about.
Maybe my balls.
20,000 views. 20,000 views on Little Mick. I mean, how do you do it?
It's great.
I mean,
Jake supports our show a lot. He watches our show. He shares our page. He really enjoys our presence and company. So thank you for making him a part of the stream.
Yes.
I wouldn't want
quick,
to talk bad about
Donnie.
Jake or to Jake. He's scary.
Yes. Really quick, we have a ton, and I mean a ton of people jumping on. Tyler Tunning, Rob Garzano, Logan James, Matt Mackey, a teammate of Jake Reynolds.
Correct.
Colton I just dropped my phone. Colton Robertson had just joined. Paul, Mark Anthony McQuez, Craig, Steve, Joe, Jason, Pops, our boy Pops. I owe Pops a call tonight, so I'm going to give him a call back. Adam Olson, Jason. So, I mean, we've got a ton of people jumping on the call, on the feed. So, obviously, welcome to the Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tab, Signature Transportation Group, and, of course, Mom and now Dad Water. So, have you had a Dad Water yet?
No, I've never had a Dad Water. I really want to get around to having one of those, though.
So, when you get over to Papa Magoo's, we have the Dad Water. It's obviously tequila based, right? So it's not a vodka based drink, but it's tequila, and I think you'll really like it. It's kind of smooth. Not gonna lie, it's very smooth. So, one last thing before we get into the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm. I have two things. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Now, I'm going to start with. I want you to just kind of go through. I'm going to pull up the Dana Strong.
Let me mention one thing really quick before we get to Dana Strong.
Okay.
Want to give a quick shout out to the Chucks boys, and they won the Carrol Open last weekend. They beat F-Town in the championship. So shout out to the Chucks guys for getting their tournament win there over F-Town. I know Hall of Fame was out there. So, the top competition in Iowa, they were able to win that one. And then the Barachos won the Clyde Park tournament, beating Savage in the IF game. And it was a really entertaining game that went 10 or 11 innings in that championship with two teams that were, good teams. PJ Raines, Julian Gutierrez out for Savage, Trey Johnson, and Travis out for Barachos. So those were the two major guys on each team, but it was about the other guys that stepped up and played well. Some of those Barachos guys, Alex Cotto and my guy J-Rod at first. I mean, they had a nice tournament, and I like both of those teams a lot. So shout out to those two guys for stepping up with those guys and helping them win a tournament. Let's talk about the Dana Strong softball tournament.
Since you brought up Clyde Park, okay, I do believe Savage went through the losers bracket in that tournament. They lost, I believe, to Waves Up, ran the losers bracket, came back, beat Waves Up, won the first game in the championship.
Yep.
And then our boy Julian Gutierrez couldn't get a hit to end the show. So I had to throw my nephew under the bus.
You did. You had to give it to him.
But he did. From what I heard, though, he did have a hell of a day. And he's been having a good year.
He's been hitting the ball nice. Steve Majera says, hello, guys. Matt Peckus says, where's the sugar-free juice box, Uncle Jimmy?
I actually had a glass of milk today. So that milk is now gone. But, once again, I want to get into, you mentioned the Clyde Park. We talked about Carrol, Iowa. But I also want to bring up a little bit about the North-South tournament and how it ended, because we haven't really had a show since then.
Sure.
There was no MVP. There's still 5 teams left in that tournament, maybe 6.
Flash, Hacks were in the winners bracket final, and then you have Pharaohs, 45's BTA money line.
Correct. So, and that kind of leads us into what I wanted to talk about with Dana Strong, right?
Yep.
So, I'm going to go have you read this.
Yep. So the 7th annual Dana Strong tournament is August 23rd, 2025 in Wentworth Park. All proceeds donated to Gianna Caponera. It's a men's 16-inch no-glove single elimination tournament, $250 plus a ball. And again, that's on April 23rd. Lifelong Canaryville resident and occupational therapist, began her cancer journey in early 23 at the age of 28. Discovered a small lump on her left leg that grew rapidly, though initially told it was likely a benign lipoma. She trusted her instinct and pursued further testing. She was diagnosed with stage 1B myxoid liposarcoma. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing those words. A rare cancer to the fat tissue. But aggressive chemotherapy, which took a heavy toll, first forcing her to stop working and rely on others for daily tasks and experience the physical effects of treatment. A second opinion at MD Anderson confirmed the rarity and aggressiveness of her cancer with limited long-term treatment success. Despite this, Gianna remains determined. She actively researches alternative options, diving into books, podcasts, and medical journals, all while holding on to hope and a fierce will to live a full, meaningful life, even while living with cancer. So, great story. So all the proceeds donated to Gianna Caponera in the 7th annual Dana Strong tournament. You want to talk about the raffle?
And I want to mention, Donnie, we are selling raffle tickets. We're selling 800 raffle tickets. We've already sold 500. I just confirmed with the family before our show today. We sold 500 tickets. There's 300 tickets left. They're attending an event in Bridgeport. I believe we're going to sell out. There's no doubt. We'll get to 800. Sure. If for some reason we're not at 800, I have a concert, as you well know, August 16th at Pop Magoo's. I will sell the remaining tickets that day if I absolutely have to. $800 a piece. So we're only selling 800. We're big chances to win, big prizes, certain things like that as well. Obviously, the proceeds of the raffle tickets, the proceeds of the stuff that day, we get donated Gatorade, we have shots. I mean, you name it, food, hot dogs, all sorts of stuff that day. I feel like every year, Donnie, it gets a little bigger and bigger, And I'm starting to see the thing, and I got to put the next slide up there. This was a slide that our boy Dave Butterfield made. So I just wanted to throw him a little love because I know he puts a lot of time and effort into a lot of things that we do. So this is also, if you guys see this floating around, it is the 7th annual Dana Strong tournament. So I know that I posted things about teams and I posted stuff out there. I've had probably 15 plus teams already tell me they're in. I know it's super early and a lot of things are going to come August, but most of the people that have said they're in are repeats from last year. So that gives me a good, kind of a good feel of confidence that a lot of those teams are going to come back, right? So wanted to throw that out there to all the softball community. Just wanted to say we appreciate the support. And that is going to be a single elimination tournament. That will be a one-day tournament. Many of you know how I feel about those tournaments. And we'll get into that tonight. But that being said, I think it's a blast. We usually go to Lawler's Bar afterwards.
It's a great time. It's a great time. It's a great event. It's a really cool organization. It's something that you put together, which is awesome. One-day tournament. Everyone sticks around and watches. I had a pleasure to play with the Punkies team last year, who ended up winning it. But a really, really great day. So thank you for doing that.
Are you ready to get into this year? And this year's SSA Melrose tournament.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, this is, I think, how we'll do it tonight, right? You'll read the game. I'll put the line out, and the two teams, like we did last time, will put the odds to win the tournament. Okay. But before we get to the bracket and everything, you had breaking news.
I have breaking news regarding the SSA Midsummer Classic. As of tonight, we had two teams drop out of the tournament. And one being BTA, who had their opening round against Hex, and the other being Pharaohs. And Pharaohs' opening round was against Fat Kids at 9:30 on Friday. So two teams dropping out of Midsummer Classic, which, Jimmy, give me your opinion on that. What do you think?
Well, I don't know the conversations that were had about those teams being in the tournament. Not really sure why they would drop out after saying they were in. Obviously,
I think the Pharaohs team ended up being a little bit short. I think they're going to be short on guys. Not 100% certain. Don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but that's what I was thinking.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think both teams are going to be short. That's why they dropped out. But in general, I just don't know why you're in and then say you're out. But I know Marky Robinson and some other teams in the past have the Splash team has done that in the past. I know other teams have done that as well. So, things happen after you say you're in and the draw is done and then you pull it out. It sucks because I think BTA, and I know we're going to get into the Forest Park draws tonight and the Forest Park buys and what we feel that's going to be, and that'll be at the end of our show. But I think both of those teams, BTA and Farrell's, they're both in question for the 7 and 8 seeds right now for the Forest Park tournament. So
I agree. Drew Ledig is saying tournament or just first game, the whole thing. Both teams dropped out for the whole tournament, I believe.
So that puts us, I believe, at 18 teams only, correct?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's going to be 18 or 20 teams.
Well, it was 20, but now you got 2 that dropped out.
Oh, yeah. 20. Yep, 18 teams.
So maybe with 2 teams dropping out, they can restructure and end this thing on Saturday night, Donnie. What do you think?
If that's possible, I think you're going to get a great outcome for Saturday night because Melrose is a viewable park. There's great seats. I mean, there's restaurants in the area, bars around there. I don't think it'll be a problem for anyone to stick around and watch a great tournament. The championship game is scheduled for 4:15 on Sunday with 18 teams in it, which seems like it could be a long day for a couple of teams for no reason.
So before we get into the lines, let's get to the group. We've had a ton of people jump on here.
Yeah.
We want to say hello to Rich Rizzo, Kevin Fasalski, Steve Majerus, Jason Sherm, Jake McTeague, Anthony Scarlata, our boy Drew Ladick. Keep going down here. Nick Crisano, a lot of repeats. Jeff Selman, Chris Rogers. Chris Rogers just put a comment out there. Why don't we get to the comment here really quick?
Oh, Jimmy, talk again?
I'm sorry?
Oh, your microphone went out for a second. Talk again?
I'm good now, right? I'm back?
Okay, so it's a little choppy, Jim. Why don't you back out for a second, come on back in.
You want your FaceTime, don't you?
No, it sounds bad.
I'll be right back.
Perfect. All right, this is my time to shine. Enrique M. Munoz Jr., who dropped out. Farrell's and BTA both dropped out. Chris Rogers did give a really nice comment and said, found out late that we were missing more guys than expected. So Chris Rogers, ace, thank you for clarifying that, my guy. I appreciate you putting that in the chat. I just didn't want to say anything incorrect. This is a way better show. Just didn't want to say anything incorrect about you guys. Love the team. Is it my mic? I'll freaking... Hold on now. Jimmy's gone. All right. Well, sorry about that. Thank you, Jack. When he comes back, I'll back out. It's taking a while to come back on, huh, Jimbo? All right. SSA Midsummer Classic this weekend. Hopefully the mic sounds okay. Let me see if I can get that. Just try to mute that and come back on. Jimmy, you hear me okay?
Donnie?
You're all right. I'm going to back out too, but they said my mic is bad too. Let me back out and jump right back in here.
Must be the weather. We are having some mic issues. A lot lately has been an issue seen with mics, technology, and so on. So, yeah, I know they keep commenting on my juice box, Donnie. Everyone wants me to go get the juice box.
That was a staple last week. Does that sound better, guys? Let me know.
You sound incredible. I don't know about how you look, but you definitely sound incredible.
Have a really quick comment to make about the thing that Jackson Perry just said. He said, Donnie, rate Olympia Park Fields. That's the park that Jackson does run, and I play there on Friday nights. And they're wonderful. Some of the best facilities you can play softball at in the city, right around the corner from Firewater and Edison Park, you'll find Olympia Park. And I will say, Jim, I've played 5 games out there. Some of the best umpires I've had in 16 in softball. Consistent, guys that try hard and are very, very good and fair at Olympia Park. So shout out to Jackson putting together quite the organization over
So are
there.
you just saying this because you don't want Jackson to be up?
Yes.
Okay.
Jackson would beat me up, but maybe not. Maybe not. Go ahead.
So he says he doesn't run the park, but that's my guy. So that's good.
He's good. He's good at it. Whatever he's doing over there, he's doing a nice job. So I appreciate Jackson for chiming in. Jimmy, why don't we get into the tournament?
All right. Go ahead. Game number 1.
Okay. I'm just going to go down the bracket, top to bottom on the bracket. The first one is Impact in Goodwood, Friday at 9:30.
So Impact, Goodwood. I've got Impact -3 in this game. I haven't seen much out of Goodwood. I know we were high on them early in the year with A Nationals.
Yep.
One of our favorites to win the A still. But Impact to me seems to be a lot better as of late. I think they've been playing better softball. I think they're a little better team than what we expected early on in the year.
Agreed.
And they hit the ball. So I think Impact's gonna. I'll say -3 in that game for Impact. I'm gonna put Impact at basically 75-1 to win the tournament, and I'm gonna put Goodwood at 200-1 to win the tournament.
Okay. Then you've got Meatball City and Iron playing into Circus on Saturday, their first game in the tournament.
So you said Meatball City and Iron. So this game to me, I feel Iron is playing for a bye this weekend, right?
Agreed.
I think that if Iron can win some games and have a good showing, I think they got a shot for the 8 seed now and BTA out of this tournament. Okay. But
Great point.
I don't. That game to me is a pick. The reason why is I just don't know what I get with Iron sometimes. Sometimes I get the Iron that beats Signature and Flash, or then I get the Iron that loses to Impact or a team that's a lower level major team, right?
And if I may add, Iron already lost to Meatball City in Melrose in the regular league.
So I'm going to throw that one as a pick, and I think Iron's playing for a lot. Iron's got a talented team. I've got Meatball City to win the tournament. I've got Meatball at 60-1, and I've got Iron around the same at 60-1.
Okay. Next is going to be Hex and Menace because of the now bye that Hex and Menace get that BTA is not in that spot right now.
So Hex and Menace.
Mm-hmm.
I know Hex just lost the other night to 30-38.
Yep.
Menace, for some reason, they have not played well this year. I feel like they've been getting blown out a lot, right?
Yeah. In the summer series, they're towards the I think they're towards the bottom in that rankings right now in the summer series. I don't think they've got a tournament win under their belt yet this year.
If Hex has a full squad, I'm gonna say Hex -6.5, and that might even be low. But I do know that Menace has an upset against Hex in the years past. I know it was with a glove. It's a different game. So you know what? I'm gonna bump that. I'm actually gonna say Hex -7.5. Okay, in that game. I'm going to put Hex because now if you look at the bracket, Donnie, Hex has a game against Menace. Pharaoh's drop, so then they play the Fat Kids, correct?
Yep.
The winner of that will play, I believe, Circus, and who else is in that?
Circus, Iron, Meatball City, Goodwood, or Impact. So if everything goes chalk, it'll be Circus and Hex Saturday at 6:45.
And the winner of that would be in the winner's bracket final, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Wow. So Hex needs to win
I would say
2, 3 games, 4 games. Wow.
So I'm gonna put Hex at a lower odds. I'm gonna put them at 15-1 to win the tournament. Okay.
I like it. I like it.
And I'm gonna put Menace. Menace is 200-1.
Okay. And Hex winners bracket final in North-South before the rain. So those guys are playing some good tournament ball as well and made it to Sunday at TOC before an early exit to Future, have bounced back nicely in tournaments. Now we've got Fat Kids. Well, I guess they don't play Pharaohs anymore, so there's no opening line there. What about the Traffic? Oh, I'll do this one. Traffic and 45s. Traffic, another team that's toward the bottom in the summer series at the moment. I don't believe they've recorded a tournament win. They're going up against the 45s, 7 o'clock on Thursday in a park they're very comfortable at, as 45s are 7-1 on the regular season at Melrose. I'm going to say 45s is an 8.5 run favorite in that game.
Okay.
If your guys are fully loaded, if you're coming out with the full squad and then you play into Chicago Dynasty, and I would say you're probably a 4.5 run favorite in the Chicago Dynasty game, maybe more.
Okay.
So Thursday, Traffic into Dynasty, and then Saturday you play into a decent game, which could be Flash, Whale, or March. So 45s to win those first two with an 8.5 run favorite and a 4.5 run favorite over Dynasty. So
give me the odds on Traffic to win the tournament.
Probably similar to Menace's odds. I would say 200 in that area as well, 200-1. Dynasty would probably be like a 75, right around where we had Iron Meatball City. That's 60 to 75 odds. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so that's fair.
Probably 3.5. 3.5 to 1.
All right, so 3.5 for the 45s to win the tournament. Okay, so on the Fat Kids and Hacks, if it goes chalk, like we always say.
Oh, sure.
I will say that Hacks against Fat Kids will be a 3.5 favorite. I've got Fat Kids with a chance to win the tournament. I'm going to say 50-1. Hex 15-1. So we mentioned that already. All right. So
okay,
go on, Donnie. What is your next game?
The next game is going to be the Whale and Flashback.
All right. So this game, and I know what Flash brings to the table. I think we all understand that, right? But Whale is tricky.
Whale's a tough team.
This is a tough opening matchup for Flash. I feel Whale can hit the ball. I mean, if Flash has their full team out there, obviously they're 100% the favorite. We all know that. The line's probably 4.5, 5.5, somewhere in there is where I'm going to go. I'm just going to say 5.5 for Flash. But the thing is with Whale, I think they have some major players at the top of their order, and if those guys can have a game, Jackson Perry,
Doug Rieger, Bo Filkins, Jack. My guy Jack watching the stream right now.
Yep. I honestly, I think that Whale can, I mean, obviously any team could pull an upset, but I think Whale could be a team that has an upset win in the first round. That being said, obviously I'm putting Flash at 5.5 because I don't know if that's going to happen, but they have very potential to obviously upset and move forward. So the winner of that game plays into who?
The winner of that game plays into March at 8:15 on Friday.
All right. So I'm going to keep the line at 5.
Okay, so
With
Flash the
flashback in
five
March.
run favorite over both teams.
I'm not going to move it much. Yep. I've got them at 5.5 over, and I've got them slightly half run less against March.
Okay.
So get the odds to win the tournament. I'm going to put Whale at about 60 to 1. Probably 3 to win the tournament.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All
now
right.
we'll move along to the High Y and Los Borrachos softball club game at Thursday at 7 o'clock.
So High Y, well, let's face it, Los Borrachos coming off a tournament victory. Obviously, High Y probably hasn't played the best softball. I would think they would agree on their end.
Yep.
They've kind of struggled a little bit, but High Y seems to do pretty well in this tournament every year for some reason. They're always near the top, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to go High Y here, and I'm going to go High Y minus 3.5. I think Los Borrachos keeps it close, and High Y pulls away at the end.
Okay. 3.5 is good. And then go ahead.
And then I was going to say it's odds to win the tournament for High Y. I'm going to put them at 40 to 1 to win the tournament, which might be a little high, but I think their road is pretty tough. And then Los Borrachos, I'm going to put them roughly at about 150 to 1.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Then we've got the winner of that game plays into the Grave Diggers on Thursday at 8:15. What would you give for the favorite to win, High Y? What would you give them over the Grave Diggers?
I don't think I've ever heard of the Grave Diggers. Have you?
I don't think so. I unfortunately haven't.
Are they a B team?
I'm not super familiar with them. I wish I knew a little bit more. If anyone's in the chat from the Grave Diggers, if you want to give us a shout, just kind of say, what's up, or someone that we would know on the team. I know they played in Westchester, if I'm not mistaken. They might have played TOC.
I think they're a B team.
Okay. I don't know. They might have played in Westchester. I'm unfortunately not sure.
Huh.
I'm trying to look them up on.
Obviously. Well, yeah, no shit, Joey Carbs. That's what.
Oh, yeah, that's hilarious, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It says, go get a Busch Latte, Jimmy. He put, go get a Busch Latte. Our boy Jim Macy checking in from New Orleans. I mean, obviously, not knowing who Grave Diggers are, I got to put High Y 7.5, 8.5. That's probably going to be a slaughter game, I would think.
I don't see them in the.
Says they're a team from the Westchester League on Mondays. They're a B team. So
okay.
That's pretty amazing that you or I don't know who they are.
Well, they're not in the A League at Melrose or at Forest Park. So there's no way for me to track kind of how they're doing, unfortunately.
Yeah. I would say we're going to go 8.5 against High Y. So High Y is going to be an 8.5 point favorite. Run favorite, and I think, I guess we just good luck, Grave Diggers. I
want them to do well. It would be great to see them do well, right? We would want that.
We want that. We'll put the Grave Diggers at 1,000 to 1 to win the tournament. But give the guys props, right? That's what we want. We want teams to play up. We want teams to be well. I'm gonna go introduce ourselves, Donnie, to the Grave Diggers when I see you this weekend.
So I played at Westchester on Monday with Meatball City. And we might have played the Grave Diggers, actually.
It says, Donnie, the Grave Diggers beat us on Monday.
I think they won. I don't know if that was the name of their team.
So were you pitching?
No.
Oh, dude, that would be hysterical.
The final score was 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah. I don't know if that was that them, Pops, because the Pops was on the team. I mean, Pops did strike out as well.
The Gravediggers beat. That's awesome.
That's funny. Hopefully it's them, because if it's them, they have a decent little squad. They have a decent little squad.
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna beat you. All right. In a 1,000 tournament.
Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah.
So,
today's Wednesday. We played them Monday, and I don't remember. I didn't even look at the name of their jersey. That's hilarious.
Game, huh?
I was focused on the game. I didn't look at who the heck. I had 2 ABs. I walked and what did I do in my first at bat? I hit a ground ball between first and second. I was 0 for 1 with a walk.
Nice.
That is them.
Okay.
Shit. And the kid made the catch in the last inning, and we're playing with Meatball City, and Jose hits a rocket at the left fielder. Left fielder like jumps and catches it, and he goes, "How about those meatballs?" And he throws the ball.
So the Gravediggers beat Meatball City.
How about those meatballs? And Pops was pissed.
That's great.
There you go.
That's good stuff, my man.
Well,
what's the next game?
Money line and signature.
All right. So money line versus signature. Well, that's a tough opening round for you guys. I'm going to put signature minus 3.5. But you guys could be on upset alert, my man.
Yeah. We haven't played money line yet this year.
No?
No, we have not.
I'm going to put money line at 60-1 because who do you guys play into?
We play into Los Borrachos, High Y, or the Gravediggers.
Dude, could you lose to the Gravediggers twice in a week?
Twice in a week and not know it?
That's awesome. So
5:30 on Saturday. Never know.
I'm going to put the odds for money line to win the tournament at 60-1.
Wow.
Kind of a high odds.
That's high. I would bring that down to like 30.
No, I think
25.
I think 60 is fair because here's my reasoning behind it. If they lose, which they're an underdog to you, they're not going to run the losers through. Right? So the odds of a team probably running the losers, I don't care who it is. It could be anybody. Now, can it be done? Sure, it can be done. But to win the tournament through the losers bracket is tough. I've got you at 3.5 run favorites. So if the chalk wins, that means money line's going to be in the losers bracket after the first game. I've got you guys at 5-1 to win the tournament, and I put you a little higher than Flash, and you gave us the odds, but I put us a little higher just because of your guys' performance at North South, being out on Saturday.
Yep, I agree with that. That's fair.
I heard you almost lost to our B team last week. You guys were down 9 runs in the fifth.
Never happened.
We had, but
we won the game.
Yeah, I give you a lot of props. I heard it was a great game. So
it was fun.
And you guys had everyone there. But what is the update on Chad Hook?
Not out. He's out this weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Still kind of waiting on a timeline for him as far as return.
Forest Park.
What?
He'll magically be healed by Forest Park, right?
I hope so, man. I love that guy. I want him around as much as possible. It sucks not having him around, honestly. It really does. I like Chad and wish the best for him every single. I mean, I talk to him all the time. He's bummed to not be playing softball.
Yeah. Did he ever find out what was wrong with his knee?
He had the MRI like a week ago, and they were talking about I didn't follow up with him on it.
Okay. Some teammate you don't follow up on an MRI. All right. So signature 5-1, money line 60-1. What's the next game? Who do you guys play into?
We play into the Gravediggers High Y or Los Barrages.
I forgot we only have 18 teams in this tournament.
Yeah, that's the entire fucking thing.
Yeah, that's it. So,
wow.
Kind of a small field for Chicago tournament for sure. Not sure why. I mean, could it be that we play the same and people could be getting sick of that format? Do you think that has anything to do with it, Donnie?
It could be, seriously.
I mean, I don't know. And I mean, I know the SSA and those guys, they do a good job. I mean, I'm just saying in general, like, I don't know why we're getting less and less teams, right? Now, North-South, I believe he had 32. What do you have at North-South, 32?
Yeah, I think that's right.
But I know he grabbed a bunch of local, right, teams, Eskimo Bros, and he did a great job of filling that. But we go from 32 to 18, and we lose BTA, we lose Farrell's. Obviously, we lost Chucks in Hall of Fame. They didn't make the trip, which, quite frankly, I don't blame them, right?
Chucks was in this tournament last year.
Yep. So, you know, I get it. I understand. I know that they're hurting for guys. That's why I think Chucks would have came if they had their team. There's no doubt.
I think Drew Leidig said they weren't allowed to pick up 2 players for this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Off a major roster. Right?
I don't know. He put in the comments, weren't allowed to pick up 2 players. Pekis, the draw was not shown, which is causing a little bit of controversy that the draw wasn't anywhere public.
Well, I think for one reason, I think because Circus couldn't play on Thursday and Friday, and so they had to give them a bye, right? But I don't think why. I mean, usually every draw that the SSA does is on live stream, isn't it?
Yep.
So I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't have it on. I mean, maybe that's a question we can ask Gio and what's his name, Jerry Brown, and Patty and those guys, and maybe find out an answer why it wasn't live.
Sure, it's worth you trying. I don't know.
I don't know. I just know that they. And they think I did throw. They weren't getting into the tournament, from what I was told. So I mean, we would have been down 17 teams, which, you know, that's still a lot of teams, but at the same time, no, Lash is not in the tournament, nor so.
Waves down. Waves down.
Waves down. Oh, yeah. So it's Jimmy and cousin Donnie. Hey, what's going on, guys? And then DeFalco says no gloves isn't live. Correct. No gloves have never been live, but the SSA doesn't run no gloves. So that is something that I know a couple years ago, Gio was trying to live stream that draw, and they wouldn't let him, from what I was told. And then now the SSA is always live stream draws, and now they didn't live stream this one. So I don't know the reason behind it. We'll have to figure that out. And maybe before our next show, we'll have that answer if we can find that out, right? Yep. So I think we went through this tournament. Who are you picking to win the tournament? Obviously, you can't pick signature, but who are you picking to win this weekend?
I feel like that's a broken record. I pick the same team all the time. This weekend, because of the draw, I'm going to pick Hex to win the Midsummer Classic.
Richie will be very excited for you. Be very happy with you.
I'm doing it. They have a good draw. They've got a first round now win into Menace, and then they play Fat Kids. I mean, that's 3 very winnable games, and then they've got to win 1 difficult game for them to get to winner's bracket final. 2 games to get to winner's bracket final. It's a great situation for Hex.
So Donnie picks Hex to win the Midsummer Classic.
Yep.
All right. I've actually been pretty good at this year.
Yep.
The team I picked the last tournament is in the winner's bracket final, right?
Yep.
And that's Flash. I'm not gonna pick Hex, Flash, or Signature.
Okay.
I'm going to pick Circus.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick Circus to run that table on that side. I believe that now that they're only playing 2 days, I think they'll have more of their guys out
True.
there. I think they need to start putting things together in that team. I think they're a little fun and compete. So my pick is Circus. So we have been, every team you've picked has went 0-2 in every tournament, right? I believe. So
Yeah.
I feel I gotta talk Richie. I gotta talk Richie out of the can tomorrow because he's gonna be in the dumps. You picked
Tell him
his
to
team to
back
win
out.
after you've been 0-2 and every. Yeah,
Tell him to
you've been
bail.
the
Get
absolute
out of
mush.
there.
You've been the mush of 16 softball. You picked Circus, they went 0-2. You picked Goodwood, they went 0-2.
Who did I pick for North South?
So
Flash. I think I picked Flash for North South though.
I don't think so. I think I picked Flash, so I know you didn't pick Flash. So
There you go. Well, the team I picked already has a win.
that is a good point. Well, technically, it doesn't count as a win because the team is not in the tournament. Okay.
Oh, I thought it was a 7-0 forfeit win.
I don't think so because the team didn't even play in the tournament, right?
Someone said I like BTA in this one.
BTA is a good choice, Donnie. You should pick BTA. So I'll pick Circus. You'll pick Hex. All right. Moving on. Anything else? I know we've got a lot of comments in there. Anything else that we're missing for this weekend that anyone wants to talk about? Please put it in the comments. We appreciate you guys watching the Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap, Signature Transportation Group, and Mom and Dad Water. So thank you guys for doing that. We definitely appreciate it. Is there anything else, Donnie, before we get on to our
the finale of the show?
Yes.
No, let's roll right into it. This is an interesting topic, and however, we are doing this before the Midsummer Classic, and as the season ended, or the regular, before No Glove ended today, these are the 8 teams that would have buys, in our opinion. And some teams are right on the fringe, and depending on how they do in Midsummer Classic, will then say if they're in a buy or not.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this. I had conversations with JD in the past, right? I don't think the Midsummer Classic, to me, is going to justify the buys for Forest Park unless a team like Iron that's on the fringe, or a team like, Pharaohs and BTA who are on the fringe are not in the tournament. Unless a team like Iron makes a run this weekend, I don't think the Midsummer Classic is going to change any of the picks now for the buys in Forest Park. So I'm going to start obviously with number 1, the winners and the 2-time defending champs Flashback. They're going to be the 1 seed. We have 45s as the 2 seed. We have Signature as the 3 seed, right? And Circus is the 4 seed. So
Correct.
5, 6, 7, and 8 are the ones that are open. Who do you have as the 5 seed?
I have Hex as the 5 seed.
Okay. Why do you have Hex as the 5 seed?
Winners bracket final in North-South. Made it to Sunday in TOC. In the Forest Park League, they are 7-1 at the top of the leaderboard in that league.
Okay. What are they in Melrose?
Melrose. Bad. 2-5 in Melrose.
So they're 9-6 in league play.
Okay.
But they're 9-6 in league play. They have, they're going to be a top 3 finish in the North-South if they lose the next 2, regardless.
Yeah.
Possibly with a chance to win the North-South. I don't think that tournament will ever get made up. So just call it they're a top 3 finish regardless. Didn't lose in the tournament. They made it. I believe they were a top. I know they lost to Future in the Westchester on Saturday. Was that their first game on Sunday?
Sunday morning they beat Meatball City and then lost to Future after that.
So they finished top 7, I want to say, then in Westchester, right? So they're 9-6 in league play. A top 3 finish in North-South, a top 7 finish in Westchester. Obviously, North-South, they didn't finish. They could have won the tournament. Who knows? So they're 9-6. All right, so you have them at 5. I am going to go ahead and say, I'm going to say money line. And I know Hex beat money line, but I have logic behind why I'm saying money line. Okay. I think that money line, I believe, is 7-2. They only play in one league.
Yep. Correct? 7-2 in Melrose. Yep.
In Westchester, they had a top 5 finish.
Okay.
Right. I believe they beat Hex in the Melrose League.
Okay.
Okay. Head to head. Where did they finish in North-South?
They're still alive when it was raining.
So they're a top 5, just say a top 5 team in North-South, correct?
I think they were still alive. I think they were playing, or did they get eliminated by BTA early on Sunday? No, they made it Sunday.
They're playing BTA on the other field.
I think you might be right.
Okay. And I'm going to say that Moneyline Circus is going to be who Circus is going to want to play in that round. Okay. I think that's where it's going to go. They're 7-2 and 2 top 5 finishes. Who knows how Moneyline's going to do this weekend? But I'm going to say Moneyline will be your 5 seed.
Okay.
Okay. My 6, since you gave your 5 first, my 6 is Hex. Hex to me probably deserves the 5. If they would have finished out the North-South with winning the tournament, they're going to finish top 3 regardless. But you know, I think the record in the Melrose League might hurt them a little bit in the league that Moneyline's in. So that's why I put them at 6. Also, like I said, I don't think Circus is going to want to play Hex into, well, it would be Hex into Flash to get to the final. So I would say it's going to be Circus into Moneyline into Flash to get to the final. Make sense?
Okay.
I think that they're going to put Hex on our side of the bracket with 45s and signature, the way it draws out. So if you guys win your first game and Hex wins their first game, they're going to play each other. You guys will play each other in that quarterfinal game to get to the semis of the winner's bracket. Does that make sense to you?
I'm following.
Okay. So we already talked about Hex 9-6 in the leagues. Top 3 finish, possibly to win, and then a top 7 finish, losing to Future on Sunday in the Westchester tournament. So who do you have at 6?
I have BTA at 6.
Okay.
I wrote that earlier today.
What is BTA's record in leagues?
So record in leagues, 5-3 at Forest Park.
Okay.
And they're actually bad in Melrose, 2-5, but 2 Sunday finishes in both tournaments.
All right, hold on. 5-3 and 2-5.
They're 5-2, or they're 2-5 in Melrose.
Okay.
And then they're 3-5, or 5-3 in Forest Park.
So 5-3 and 2-5. That's 7-8. So they're 7-8 in league play.
Yep, with
which I believe a couple of those are forfeits. I believe they've actually been forfeiting out of league play. I think they did that last night in the Melrose League.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they did. So I don't know if they're having trouble this week with guys or if something happened. Not really sure. But 7-8 in league play. What did you say on Sunday? They're in the top 5 of. They're in the top 5 of the North-South tournament. Where did they finish in Westchester?
They lost to. Sorry, I'm just plugging in my phone here. Phone's about to die. They made it deep on Sunday. I know they lost their first game against Flash on Sunday morning.
Okay. So were they a top 7 finish or top 9 finish in Westchester then?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So your 6 is BTA. Who's your 7?
Well, I got to run and grab my phone charger really quick. Give your 7.
All right. So my 7 is BTA. Or actually, take that back. My 7 is Pharaohs, is who I had at 7 going into this weekend. I had Pharaohs at number 7. Pharaohs, they got 2 top 5 finishes in both first 2 tournaments of the year. I know Donnie will pull up what their league play is, but Pharaohs still alive in the North-South. Top 5 finish in the, I believe they finished 4th in the Westchester. No, they finished 5th in Westchester because Future finished 4th. So I got Pharaohs at my number 7 seed. Donnie, I want you to pull up the Pharaohs league record, if you don't mind, to see
Future
where we're
finished a
at.
little higher in TOC. I think they were like 6th. I want to say Pharaohs was 4th and lost earlier or a little bit later in the day. Go ahead. Look. What do you want me to see? The Pharaohs in Forest Park?
Yeah, Pharaohs in Forest Park. Yep.
They're 2-8.
Okay, so not a great showing in Forest Park.
They're in last place in that league.
Okay, so they did finish 4th. They beat Future, according to what Chris Rock says. So they finished 4th in the Westchester, and they're still live on Sunday in the North-South, which if they win a game, they're in the top 4 again. So I would fair to say that Pharaohs would be my 7 seed and a bye for Forest Park. They would then play into 45s with a win.
Okay. My 7 is money line.
Okay, money line.
Yep. My 7 is money line. So kind of like we talked about in Melrose, 7-2 in Melrose. They score a ton of runs 2 Sundays. So money line at 7, and then at number 8, I have March.
Okay.
March in Forest Park, 6-2 in the league, and then made Sunday in North-South. Or a late loss Saturday away from 2 Sunday finishes. So a late loss on Saturday at TOC, and then a Sunday appearance in Berwyn at Genera Park. So
all right, so they're 6-2. They're 6-2 at Forest Park.
Yeah.
What's the record in Melrose?
3-5.
So that's 9-7 in league play.
Yep.
Okay, with a top 7 finish and a top 12 finish, that's who you got at 8.
Yep.
So I had 2 teams at 8 that I couldn't make a decision on: BTA and Iron.
Yep. I think Iron is right there as well. You're right.
BTA, I believe we've already talked about their in league play record. What is Iron's in league record?
Iron in
I think they're 5-5.
Iron in Forest Park is 5-5, and then in Melrose they're 3-6.
So that's 8-11 in league play. So they got a losing record in league play, but they've beat Flash twice. They've beat Signature. They beat you guys in the North-South.
Yep.
So they've got some big wins. Where did they finish in the tournaments? I don't think they made it to Sunday in either one, though, did they?
They did make it to Sunday in North-South, I believe.
Okay.
They were 0-2 in TOC.
Okay, so they're 0-2. So they were just called last place finish in TOC, and probably a top 12 or a top 10 finish on Sunday. So the reason why I said this is because Flash, and I feel like I know how JD operates, and I know he says he doesn't have anything to do with it, but his input does matter, right? And I think JD likes great first round matchups. Who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't when it comes to the mecca of 16 in softball? This year, Flash has lost to Iron twice. Okay? Think about this. So, Flash obviously going to want their revenge on Iron. Iron's had their number this year. JD likes that, right? So that works in their favor. BTA has been traditionally a team that has given fits to Flash. Yes, Flash beats them.
The BTA beat Flash earlier this year, 16-2 in Melrose.
Okay, and I believe Flash came back and beat them in the Westchester tournament too. But I'm just saying,
yes,
Flash has traditionally had very good matchups with BTA. So the way I feel Forest Park is going to operate is based on matchups, maybe not based on where teams fall, where teams will actually have the best matchups amongst each other, and it gives the best games. So my top 8, Flash playing into BTA, okay, or Iron, I think right now. And I think if Iron makes a run this weekend and does a top 4 finish, I think they could snag the 8 seed. If they don't, I think BTA grabs the 8 seed and they're locked in.
agreed.
Because both those teams, I think, will give a game to Flash. Not saying they're going to beat Flash, but I think both of those teams give trouble to Flash and they play confidently against them. 45s, obviously the 2 playing in the Pharaohs. We are actually playing Pharaohs right now in the North South, and I think we're in the second inning. I believe the game is 1-0, right? I don't know if we've played. I don't remember if we've played Pharaohs this year. I don't remember it. I think we might have played them once or twice. Not really sure. So I think that'll be a matchup based on what Pharaohs season has done. They've had basically 2, call it a top 7 and a top 5 finish in the tournaments. Possibly actually 2 top 5 finishes, depending if they win against us at North South. You got Hex playing Signature. I think Hex is on the 6th line, like I said. I think that you guys, I think that's just a great matchup, you versus Hex. I feel Circus playing Moneyline. I think Moneyline, like I said, Moneyline is a team that will give Circus fits, but, I don't think Circus ideally would want to play Hex into flashback. So I'm going to go with Moneyline there at the 5 seed. If you know where I'm going with that, right?
I'm picking up what you're putting down. There's a couple of comments, Jim, I want to answer really quick. Chris Rogers said it was the 4th inning and it was 1-0. So a little bit later in that game, could go either way.
I believe we had 1st and 2nd. I believe
Okay.
I think so. I don't remember. I don't remember it being the 4th inning already, but he could be right. I don't know.
Yeah. Drew Leidig says, hopefully we just get a bid. Let me know what the odds are, which is funny.
Yeah,
They're getting a bid.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to talk to JD, and I don't know if they should get a bid.
But yeah, great comments from everybody. Greg P says, shout out to Chucks on a tournament win in Iowa. We did mention that at the beginning of the show, so shout out to them. And a big birthday shout out to Greg P from F-Town. So we appreciate him very much for stopping in the show on his birthday. Jim, I love the line. I want to say one more thing. It is so interesting to see who can take that 8th spot, because I agree with you on the Pharaohs. I think they could take 8 or 7. Iron is right there as well with a good performance at Midsummer after a bounce back, with a bad TOC to bounce back and beat Signature, and then try and make it to Sunday in North South, which is great. There's a lot of things that could change in the last couple spots there for sure.
Yeah. So for the last couple spots, we have Pharaohs, BTA, Iron, and March fighting out basically for 7 and 8.
Yep.
I think Pharaohs is a lock at 7. I think that's a done deal.
I could see that too.
I think BTA and Iron and if possibly March maybe makes a run this weekend, they could snag that 8 seed too. So there will be some pretty interesting games for Iron and March this weekend, knowing they got to make a run to possibly get a bye. I put a comment up on the screen from Tom. In North-South tournament, when 45s drop in the loser's bracket, does it deflate the team knowing how many games you have to win a championship? Well, we win in the loser's bracket in the semifinals of the winner's bracket, so that's not like losing your first game.
I could probably answer this a little better.
You could easily come back in the final 5 because you play one game to get to the final 4. You play another one to get to the final 3, right? So you really only got to win 5 games on Sunday to win the tournament, which I don't think 5 games. I mean, yeah, you're tired by the 4th or 5th game, but it's definitely doable. I don't think it's doable at 9.
It's very difficult to wrap your head around how many games you have to win to come back and win a tournament after losing your first game.
Right.
It is deflating for a team. Just being like, almost demoralized after game number 1. It's tough to get back into a rhythm and play good softball after that. So, yeah, that's a nice wrap up on that, Jim. I would agree with you 100% with where you're at. It's really up in the air for those last 3 spots.
Yep, I agree. So, what does this say here?
I wish the show was around back in the day. That's a good compliment.
That is a big compliment. I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. I wonder if it's because of our looks, though, Donnie. What do you think?
I mean, yes, 100%. Not the knowledge of the game, but what we possess on the face, yes.
On the face. So before we leave tonight, and before we leave everyone, I got to ask you a question.
Talk to me.
And I know you don't have a clue what I'm going to ask you. It's the question I ask every guest because I've never asked you. Okay. If Donnie could change one thing in softball right now, what would it be?
It's funny. I've never been asked this question directly, but I've heard 50,000 different answers.
But I want Donnie Rollins, cousin Donnie, answer.
I think I've kind of answered it, not directly, but I really wish there was no animosity between different groups in the game. I don't like that there's a disconnect and that one side has a complex that cannot be wrong. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
So you're trying to sugarcoat it.
Correct.
So
as I usually do.
Let's call it for what it is. So you're saying that due to certain individuals making the game very difficult, we can't work together.
Yeah. I would like those individuals to work together and try to create the best product for the game. I think certain teams want to compete in tournaments because of the fact that who's running them.
Right.
I would like to have games on ESPN because I watch a lot of bullshit on ESPN that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The idea is growing on me more of different tournaments having different formats as well, because like we talked about it on the phone the other day.
Yeah.
It's stale, I think, and it's unfortunate. Like the Marshalltown tournament was awesome because we traveled there, but it's still a double elimination tournament. You know,
not technically.
Oh yeah, you're right. You could play. You're right. You could play into the consolation.
No, you could still lose your first 2 games and still win the tournament.
You're right.
3-game guarantee. So, but yes, I agree. But why is Iowa so fun? Right? Iowa's fun because it's a different location. It's a different guy.
And there's the fences, and it brings a whole different dynamic into how we play the game.
Correct.
Put people on base, and then Kev Smith hits a homer, right? But hey,
it's different softball. So
yeah,
I want to kind of get into your answer a little bit because we have this platform, right?
Yeah.
We grew this platform with our players, with our groups, with our teams, with everyone that follows us and watches the show. You know, we couldn't really do it without them. To me, I mean, I think you agree with me. There's no way we can do it without them, right? So, and I know our numbers are growing. I don't know if you've seen that, but our followers are growing. We're almost at 4,000 followers right now, and we've only been doing this what has it been now? It'll be 2 years. 2 years in October, right?
2 years, yeah.
So we're about a year and a half in. So I think that's incredible, and I think a lot of the players appreciate, you know, and we always say this: if someone wants to live stream a game at a field, please call us. Use our platform.
Go ahead.
That's what it's about. So I know Drew put in 37,000 followers. I wish we had 37,000 followers, but I mean, how do you think we can fix what we're talking about? How do you think? I mean, I know we've tried already. But what is the right way to go about this?
It's it's like a very bad breakup that neither party wants to deal with or doesn't have the energy to try and make it correct. If that makes sense.
Right. But but would you call us a separate party though? I don't. We don't run an association.
Yes, I would, because we have a platform though.
Oh.
Like, we have the ability to put a show out and talk to anybody that we want to. We can invite anybody on the show to give their opinion about the game.
Right. Okay. No, that's a good point. I didn't look at it that way. Yeah, no, that's a great point, right? So you think, and I know we've invited Gio, we've tried to do a lot of things with Gio, and I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. We're not saying that. We're just saying in general, right? Gio is just one person, but we're speaking to the association of the SSA on certain things that they run or what they do, is what you're getting at, correct?
There is a great opportunity to enhance the game with certain cooperation from the organization as a whole. It's not an individual. That's the answer.
Okay. And now, are you saying this because of ideas that you've heard that just gets thrown to the wayside? Or are you saying this because you've heard other people discuss and talk about the way certain things are done? Or just because we've been talking about certain things for the last several years? And
it's probably both. It's probably the first two that you said.
Okay.
In that it takes a lot to make a change, but it's not a very difficult thing to do. If you look at it and say, hey, why don't we run this event now with 17 or 18 teams? Why don't we change the format of it? Because we don't have the turnout that we wanted. Try it one time and see how it works. I know it's kind of tough with the last minute changes, but difficult to make an adjustment to these tournaments without the cooperation from more than one person.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, the one thing I can say is I actually like the fact that I've seen more of Anthony Tyler at the parks this year.
Agreed.
And I know Anthony Tyler is a heavy voice in that room for the SSA. Mm-hmm. I know he's stubborn like myself, or he's stubborn like others. I get it. There's certain things and views, but I mean, I think to the point of change is not an easy thing to accept. And I think that's where some of the old timers that have played the game 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago, they won't accept that change now because this is the way the game's always been, right?
Yeah, I think there's plenty of room to improve on that. Even the MLB changes, NBA changes, play-in tournaments. The MLB does pitch clock, like, just to make the game more exciting for a game that's been the same way for 100 years. Why can't we adjust like that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I would like, see, the response I always get is that it's just us that say that we want changes. When they speak to the major teams, they all want to say they want it the same way. Okay, look who runs the major teams. Think about this, okay? Who runs the 45s? Izzy. Mm-hmm. Izzy's what? Played 20, 30 years ago. Still playing now, right?
Sure.
Okay. So he's old school in regards to the way it was done when he started. Okay. Who runs Flash? Jibs.
Yeah.
Bobby Russ.
Old school guys.
How are they used to running things? Well, they played 20. Some of them still play now, right? Jibs still pitches here and there. They played 15, 20, 25 years ago. The way it was run now, right? Look at Moneyline. Who runs Moneyline? Matty Dozen. Matty Dozen. Who runs Signature? Sal. I'll tell you one thing about Sal. Sal is one of the more open-minded people about this. I've actually had, whether you like Sal or not, call him a weasel or not. I know me and him always joke around about the weasel comments, but he is eye-opening about making changes in 16-inch softball. I've heard him speak. I've heard him say those things. So for
Jeff
you to
will tell you the same thing. Jeff is open to that stuff too. So, and he's been around the game forever.
Right. Well, I mean, look who runs March. Tommy Lentine in his 60s. So when they say that none of the coaches and people want changes, that's because the guys that are running the teams grew up playing this way. You understand my point?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing, right? I just think that, to your point, and I didn't even know you were going this way with the question, so you kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I was kind of shocked. I thought you were going to go a completely different way. But either way, I think if we do what Chris Guerin said a year ago on this show, I think he is 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
He is. The more I think about it, different parks, different formats. Think about it. It's cool. How fun was it to play North, South, and Berwyn this year? Different park, right? Where it originated. Okay. I thought it was pretty cool. I did. I thought it was a cool time. You had that neighborhood feel. I know a lot of the North Side guys are talking about having a tournament up north and doing those type of things at major level. Fantastic. Let's do it. Why can't we go play a single elimination tournament in Mount Prospect on a Saturday? They got no lights. Okay, fine. You can't finish a 2014 tournament starting at 10 in the morning and ended at 6 o'clock. You could easily do that. You get light till 8 o'clock. So, but that all together, I think those are different formats, different things. I think I sent you the one guy that says Yuma style.
Yeah.
They're running a Yuma style tournament, I believe, July 4th.
In Iowa, yeah.
In Iowa. That is really cool. It just sucks that it's over the major holiday weekend and there's no chance we're going to be able to put a team to go out there because they know families and everything else got stuff going on. So, Jimmy DeFalco, you put the comment up there from Drew. Jimmy DeFalco, right before that, says, never was a fan of Saturday finish, but I see the value in it more and more, or more than I ever. So 100%, right? But Jimmy DeFalco, also an old school guy, but now he's starting to come around to that as well. Put Drew's comment back up there.
It's a good comment because we talked about some of the top managers in the game, and we talked about change, and Sal is, open to it, and he says he likes Sal. He played one weekend for Sal, and now I try to bring things he did to his own team. He's a great manager. It's hard. It's hard on me specifically, being a pitcher on his team. I mean, we talk a lot about development and things like that, and he's helped me a ton with my development.
So here's Greg.
That's birthday boy Greg.
He says, there's no way to fix what isn't broken. Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, you're all great. Bring variety of players and managers to your platform. Keep up the good work. So, that's 100%. What he's saying is, it ain't broke. But I see less and less teams, right? I hear you talk to players. I talk to a ton of players. I hear more and more now that people don't want to play. So Tom Higgins just put out there, Papa Hops, the best tourney in summer, 32 teams, single elimination tournament done in one night. I love the format. It's just not the best, right? It's not the best softball because they make, it's two major players. I get it, but that's why they get 32 teams, and that tournament charges $1,000. I love the fact it's an all-out party. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna reach out to I'm drawing a blank on his name. Liam. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him about coming back on our show. Hopefully he can join us here in the next week before Papa Hops. I'd like to hear the inside scoop on what he has planned. Remember last year he broke
on the show.
He broke the scoreboard, which was awesome. I think that was really cool. So we want to get him back on. I'm going to reach out to him this week and see what he's available for. Hopefully we can get him on before Papa Hops. Really, really cool opportunity there. But yes, I agree with Higgins. Papa Hops, it's awesome because it is one night. Single elimination, shit or get off the pot, right? I know it's true. I mean, think about it.
a funny way to put that. I've never heard that before.
It's right. It's shit or get off the pot. I mean, it's hey, you want to play more softball, then win the game, right? Tom says, do you think the game of softball is better with SSA, and why is SSA afraid of change?
The game of softball is good with the SSA because they organize the tournaments and they put together everything. We just show up and play.
Right. And there's a lot of work that goes into that.
It's the same events. It's unfortunately you get two of the best teams in softball drop out, a night before because of things that they disagree with. I think the game is good with the SSA. I don't know.
No, I think the game is good with the SSA too. I think Patty, I think Gio, I think Tyler, I think a lot of those guys, everyone in softball knows the amount of effort and time and work to run an organization. It's not easy, right?
No one discredits that.
No one discredits that. But I think there's a huge but when it comes to they have to have more of the ears open to change and what they want to hear. But then when I talk to them, they say that like the coaches and the players don't say that. But then when I talk to the players, it's the complete opposite. But I think we approached or we addressed it tonight. A lot of the coaches that run those teams are in their 60s and played 20 years ago when softball was a lot different place than it is now.
Yeah.
Okay. So that could be a reason. And who knows, maybe he says, but players should have a bigger say in things. Yeah, Tom, I agree with what you're saying. I would like to have some type of committee, whether it be from the player side and the SSA side, or to your point, Donnie, work together some way to make something different, right? If it's a money thing, what are entry fees now for tournaments?
No idea.
Probably $350, $400.
Yeah.
Okay. If we go and play at a different park and we have to raise the entrance fee another $100, our team's not going to play because of $100 at a new complex and something different.
Same teams will
get in. But I think the atmosphere, I think the effort of the games, and I think the impact of what the excitement brings from a player aspect makes the game better.
Yep.
Right? Let's face it, are you really excited to play another double elimination tournament this weekend? The same one we did 2 weeks ago and the same one we did 4 weeks ago here in Chicago?
Absolutely.
Be honest. You're not. Okay.
I love it. I love
playing softball too. Don't get me wrong.
I'm excited to play.
I love playing the game, but I'm just saying it'd be really cool to go out there for a single elimination or Yuma style or something different. Like I agree.
Just one. It doesn't have to be all four. Just make one of the 4 or 5 or an event that's separate from the top 4 or 5 tournaments, for all the major teams to do it. So
yeah,
that's my piece.
Marky Robinson says, stop jamming every tournament into 1 month. So I don't know where he's going with that. Well, I guess we had 2 tournaments this month. We had one in May. We had one in July and one in August. So maybe he means other tournaments outside of major. Maybe that's what but I think there's a tournament every weekend. Anywhere you go and play, there's a tournament every single weekend.
You could play softball every weekend if you wanted to.
Right. And then Sam Rogers say a players committee voted on by the players to be directed line of communication with the board seems logical.
That's great. That is great.
Great. I'm going to put that on the screen. That's a great comment by Sam right there. Yeah. I think the players could easily format that. There's no doubt. I just don't know if the association's going to listen. Right? What do you think?
No, they won't. Even if there's a committee with the smartest people that are on the committee, it won't. Unfortunately, won't go.
Well, dude, I'll be honest with you. I know we were going to end the show 10 minutes ago, but these last 10 minutes, I actually we're getting a ton of comments coming in. So Sam Rogers just put another one out there. He says false. Major players cannot play every weekend if they want.
That's true. I'm saying the guy that's committed and wants to play every weekend, say an A-ball player, you can play in it. You're right, Chris. That is true. A major player cannot play every weekend. A major player can't go play A nationals, B nationals. But if there's a B player that's really, really wants to play and has no problem going to sit the bench for a tournament and just learning and being with a team. Like, for instance, No Glove Nationals, a guy that just goes and runs but also plays on a B team and is a good player. He can play in every tournament if he wants.
So I guess Drew Ladick is coming to Chicago this weekend, so I don't know what he's coming.
He said he's going out with Richie to the Cubs game. He said you need the day off.
Yeah, I don't think Richie's got approved for the day off yet, though. So
I believe that. That's funny.
But either way, I think, what these guys are saying, I think it's true. It sits home with a lot of people, right? There was a comment really quick, Donnie. I know we're running a little late, but we still got 50-something people watching on Facebook, another 20 on YouTube. So people are interested in what we're talking about. For A teams, there's an SSA tournament in June. Why would an A team want to do that when each of the event is 3 or 4 days? So to our point, right? Every event is the same format, 3 or 4 days. Why would an A team want to play multiple tournaments in the month? So that's, I think, where he's going with that. There was a comment, though, way back in time about A teams getting in Forest Park. And I know we spent a lot of time on the show tonight about the buys. Maybe that's a topic that I think we could bring up about A teams getting in Forest Park, because I think the invites for Forest Park go out like in a week, I believe.
Okay.
They go out very soon. I know it's around the end of June.
Good to know.
They must already be, so. Yeah, Drew says he'll be here. Okay.
He'll be at the Cubs game. He's looking for pending approval for Richie to get the day off, which is hilarious.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. He's had a lot of days off in the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
I'm going to call him Mr. Vacation soon. So, but that being said, I think overall people want to see different things. I think people want to hear what you're saying, and I think people want to agree to it. But the problem is I don't know how we approach that. And I think that's the biggest thing. I went into that meeting last year about changing a tournament, and I pretty much got my head bit off the whole time and was kind of really disrespected a little bit in the meeting. But that's a whole nother aspect, right? So,
yeah, Chris, that's another good topic we have for potential show before No Gloves, right? Because we're going to have a minute here without tournaments. Thoughts on the last 4 and play-in invites will be a really good thing that we can talk about, Jim.
Which I have planned for next week. That's right before 4th of July.
Yeah.
Before we know the actual.
Can't put all of our eggs in one basket with all this one show. This has been a content farm. We've got plenty of weeks to talk about this. Chris, thank you for all your comments, by the way, Chris. You've been very helpful with talking about the Pharaohs and talking about games that you were playing in, where they left off and things like that.
So we had a good comment. Mr. Moo himself, he says, Nate says, look at the cows laying down on your trip over to Drew. It could be a rain delay. So that comes from our boy Al Rice telling about cows laying down. I think we talked about that in the last show, which is really funny. Here's another comment. If a team plays Forest Park, then they should play major nationals. All teams want to play at the Mecca of softball. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. 100% agree with that. So here's DeFalco about the 25 years ago. Sunday was family day at the park. Not anymore. Times changed. So he's 100% right. Okay. Yes.
I was going to answer Drew's comment, but Jimmy's right. I mean, it was a place to be. It was a poppin' place to be on Sunday. Now it's just for the teams that get there, and those guys can't even get a full team out there on Sunday. So,
did they let Los Lobos in without a glove for A Nationals?
I believe so.
They did let them in now, because
I believe so.
So, I mean, if they did let them in, that's good for softball in regards to.
I agree with that.
Without a glove. I think with a glove, they're a major team, right? We agree on that. Without a glove, not having most of those guys never playing without a glove before, I think it'll be challenging for them, but offensively, they're a major team. We both agree, right?
They're a major team offensively. With a glove, they're a major team. Without a glove, they are one of the favorites to win A Nationals.
Correct. But it'll be interesting. It brings a little spice, I feel, to the A Nationals. If
I agree with that. And that's what we need.
I have not heard if they changed their mind or not. I know initially they had told them no.
They're in.
I don't know if they're in or out. So that'll be good.
That's great.
I believe the teams were picked last year at the end of June, Adam.
Okay, great.
They were not picked you're saying last year. Okay, I see what you're saying. He's saying last year they picked them at the end of June. Okay, yeah, that's what we're saying, the Forest Park team. I thought he meant like the teams were picked last year. Like, no, Adam. Just stick to announcing, buddy. We appreciate that, all right? Drew, we all agree. The pitcher and short center for Los Lobos was great. Yeah, no, he was. The pitcher was phenomenal. I thought he was a bastard. He was an asshole, and I think he is a very good player, and he was funny as shit. And he had a good sense of humor, and he's got an invite to Team Jagoff anytime. So Team Jagoff needs a pitcher. So,
well, yeah, that's. I think that's it for me.
Go ahead. Anything else before we go?
No, sir. That was great. Thank you.
I mean, hey, that's what we're here for, right? Talk about topics that no one else wants to talk about. I'm actually shocked, Donnie. I'm not kidding you that you went that route. I was not expecting that. So that was a great 25 minutes, and we got a shit ton of comments during those 25 minutes about what you brought up. So obviously people are thinking it.
Yes, sir.
So, all right.
Yeah, man.
Well, guys, we appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap, Signature Transportation Group, along with Mom and Dad Water. So we will see you guys next week. I don't know what day we'll be live, but we will definitely be live sometime very soon after this weekend, hopefully with the MVP of the tournament. So